The National Climate Risk Assessment, a first of its kind for Australia, has been released, and its findings are pretty worrying. According to this report, warming across the continent has already reached 1.5 degrees, with findings showing the number of heat related deaths would skyrocket in a city like Sydney by 444%. The risk of rising sea levels along the nation's highly populated coast was noted as well, with an increase in flooding, erosion, and inundation. By 2050, 1.5 million coastal residents could be at risk, rising to more than 3 million by 2090. From a cost of living perspective, insurance premiums are predicted to go up substantially, with some companies expected to flat out deny cover for certain properties. The report shows a direct correlation between the cost of living crisis and climate change.
Looking at the scenario that says, what if the world warms by 3 degrees? Then you're looking at significant disruption to anyone that lives near the coast that might be affected by sea level rise, significant disruption to health, a massive increase in heat waves, the length of heat waves, the number of heat wave days. It's really painting a picture of a completely different country, a country none of us have grown up in, one that's actually a little bit more dangerous, a lot more expensive, and definitely something that we really need to address before it gets there.
Yeah, and one of the things that you're calling for is for the goalposts regarding net zero to be moved to 2035. The Prime Minister was reportedly considering his options regarding this last week. I do wonder, because this has been a conversation for a wee while now. Do you think it's possible? Because even the UN has said commitments by global governments fall way too short of even hitting 2050, never mind 2035. As much as it's a fantastic goalpost to have, do you think it's possible?
Yes, we do, for two reasons. One, there are good reports, really good reports out there, including by Climate Analytics. There's looking at what's readily achievable under some pretty conservative scenarios, and that tends to paint a picture that we could at least get to 81% emissions reductions by 2035. That's pretty good. That's a good deal of the way towards net zero by 2035. And the reason why we're calling for net zero by 2035 is using all the best available science, which the government is actually obliged to do under the Climate Act. Then we can see that that's going to give us the best chance of sticking to a temperature rise that is going to be within a safe limit. And under the Paris Agreement and under international law, that temperature rise is considered to be 1.5 degrees. Now, this new report today confirms for the first time that Australia has already reached and is now at 1.5 degrees. And so we need to do as much as possible to stick to that. Now, a lot of people in the business lobby, particularly those in the extractive industries, have sort of said, well, we can't go too fast because that will cost us too much. But on the other hand, if you're in a crisis, we've seen it happen in our lifetimes. We saw COVID come up and totally disrupt our economy. And the government intervened and they made policy changes and they spent more money than they had for decades on making things happen and keeping people safe. We're looking at a similar situation right now where if we don't, we've actually got more quantified health risk, fatality risk, destruction of property, loss of property prices, uninsurability, and even potentially parts of the country that aren't just going to lose their natural beauty, but might become unlivable.